So, Mark, did you see the video of bats on Fremont Street? We're in the desert, there's bats everywhere. You have to worry about scorpions biting you in your sleep, and now bats attacking you while you're just having fun on Fremont.
It's weird too. They're not like up in the rafters or anything. I've never seen a bat just like hanging out on the side of a wall. Especially that chick's face. I feel bad for whoever is in the ad there. She's just got a bat on her face.
Hey, these are Vegas bats. They have to go where the fun is, right? Is it
That
that
was
stupid?
bad.
So one of the updates people have been requesting is to see what it looks like at Tropicana right now amid the demolition. We know that they're sort of gutting the towers, tearing out everything ahead of a implosion this fall. And I went over there, went up to your famous Oyo parking garage to the top of it.
The
Great
best.
views of the Tropicana. Yeah, you get to see that beautiful wood fence that cost them, what, $700,000 or something insane. And yeah, it's sad to see. It's very stark. The buildings are sort of see-through at this point. Most of it's gone. We should be seeing an implosion later this year.
I mean, will we though? It'll be like the least exciting implosion in the history of implosions. There's like nothing left, just like the bones of the building. It's kind of crazy to see like this though. I mean, it doesn't even look recognizable in any way. Just looks like a dirt patch, like it's been returned to what it was before they ever built it type of thing. But when you're looking at this and you see the scope and now that everything's knocked down, you can really get like the vastness of the space. It makes me feel like it's even less likely that they're going to fit a baseball stadium and a resort there. Did you get kind of that feeling when you were looking bird's eye view of it?
Yeah, we always knew it's going to be tight, and it's going to be tight. I mean, this doesn't look like, you could barely put a casino on there, a modern casino, it seems like, let alone an entire baseball stadium. But the jury's still out on that one. As far as we know, it's still moving forward. But we did learn a little bit more about the implosion of these buildings because they filed a permit this week. What's interesting is they're going to bring down both towers at the same time. So, if it's see-through and all that, at least you're getting both towers. And there have been previous Vegas implosions where they had to gut the building. So, it isn't like completely unique here. But it's going to happen sometime between September 30th and October 8th. No date has been announced, and we may not get an official announcement because they try to keep people from coming. But I'm sure we'll figure it out, and there'll be a lot of people there anyway.
Yeah, the Oyo will get a whole bunch of people standing up top there to watch it whenever it does happen. But it does seem like, okay, they went through this really quickly. I know demolition's a lot easier than building. Same with like home remodels and stuff. They demo those things in a day and then takes them 6 months to build. But you would think it would be a little bit quicker on the demolition, wouldn't you? Like, 2-3 months out seems a little bit, but I guess they got to get everything approved and you're working with explosives and all that kind of stuff. So maybe the timeline isn't that long pushed out, but then how long will it sit there once it's all vacated?
Yeah, that's the big question. Are we going to just have a parking lot or a empty lot for years? I don't know. I mean, it does seem like it's very close. I mean, based on looking at it, you could see them bringing down the towers next week. So I don't know what quite the delay is, but hopefully it's safe. We don't want any asbestos clouds. We do want them to put on a show, so don't try to hide this from us. This is an implosion. It's important. This is part of Vegas history now.
Drone show and implosion all in one.
Yeah.
Good.
That's the new Vegas. You got to have the drone show, implosion, fireworks, do it all.
What do you think the Sphere will do for it? I'm guessing they're going to do something that ties into it.
It'll probably be in the middle of the night. That's when they do these things. So I don't know what the Sphere will do, but I'm sure the whole city will do something. I mean, they did do the whole goodbye on all of the marquees. I wonder if we're going to get that for Mirage. We'll talk a little bit about Mirage later this week, where every strip marquee sort of lights up. Hopefully that happens.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool, even though it's not technically really going away. The name's going away. The whole history of it's going away. So I hope they do something.
So did you see this video, this crazy accident at Lee Canyon up on Mount Charleston? So this guy is driving a Tesla and somebody rams right into him. But then he claims the Tesla just started driving itself, which I don't know. But anyway, he rams into the car, starts driving off, and then the car that hit him drives off. So I was trying to like put myself in the perspective of the people who hit him. Like all of a sudden you hit somebody and then they rage hit you and then they start driving off. And I don't know, would you leave the scene? This is nuts, and I don't know who's at fault here. I have to think that legally both of them are, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Jeep is the one that started the accident. They came around that corner too fast and they were probably thought nobody else is on the road and it's a Jeep and we're out in the country. Like, let's have some fun with this. And they just couldn't handle that turn. It was going too fast, probably skidded a bit. It didn't even look like they really tried to hit the brakes too much. But I don't know. It felt like the secondary hit from the Tesla actually jarred their Jeep more. Like you saw them bouncing around after. And before I like read it, the details of it all, I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's like pissed and he ran him, and then he's driving off the road and almost to the other side of the road. It's kind of crazy. I mean, in 2024, I feel like I would think that guy's raging, and you watch him drive all over crazy on the road. I'm like, if he's gonna pull out a gun or what, I'd probably drive away too.
Yeah, and then, when something goes wrong and you rage, you just blame it on the Tesla autopilot and all is good. But there's logs in the car, so they'll know if it actually engaged or what happened. But yeah, it's just a nutty video. And I need to see one of those YouTube shorts or TikToks from a lawyer explaining exactly who's at fault here. But I have to think there's two accidents, and the first one is the other people's fault. I don't know. But it was an interesting video, so we thought we would share it with you guys.
No, the craziest thing is the guy bought a Tesla for his retirement present and then didn't get full coverage. Like,
yeah, that's
what?
Nuts. I forgot. Yeah, that's a big part of the story. He doesn't have insurance. So he actually put this video out there because he's trying to find the people who drove off. Yeah, who has a car without full insurance these days?
That's like the people that buy like a Mercedes and then complain about putting premium gas in. Like, you're too broke to buy it then, if that's a problem. If you can't afford an extra dollar or two a gallon for gas, then you shouldn't buy that car. And if you don't want to get full coverage, you shouldn't buy one of the most expensive cars in the world to fix.
But he doesn't have to pay for gas at least, so there's that. I mean, electricity is cheaper. So let's move on to some food. And Scotch 80 Prime, the steakhouse at Palms, is very popular, well reviewed by a lot of the food reviewers in town. I don't know if it's doing so well though, because they just introduced a new happy hour menu that's half off. And this is going to be Monday through Thursday, 5 to 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 to 10 p.m. So basically just outside the dinner rush. And there's a lot of deals here. This is pretty good.
Yeah, it's surprising. Normally, you see a couple hors d'oeuvres, maybe some drinks, nothing too big, but they have like their filet on there. The burger, which I don't know why it's $50 to start with, but it comes down to 25, which is, kind of like a steakhouse burger anywhere now. And so that makes it more normal. They got hash browns for like $8, something like that. So there's a lot of good deals. The filet drops down into the 30s, which is where you'll find outside of Vegas at some steakhouses, usually probably in the 40s. So if you can make that work, it's a really good deal.
You're so cute, Mark, thinking that burgers at steakhouses are $25 in Vegas these days. You can't even go to the food halls. They're like $20 at the food halls.
Yeah, I meant like other places, like outside of Vegas at steakhouses, in any other city, they're probably around $25, not in Vegas.
But that burger specifically has gotten very good reviews. So interesting, wedge salad, $8.50. There's all kinds of deals here that it's like, oh, you could have a really nice meal there, and you're basically getting half off because there's so much on the menu. So it's really good to see that. I stayed at Virgin this week, and we'll talk on a future show about my experience since we have so much other stuff to talk about. But I did want to talk about, I hit up Pizza Forte again, which is the pizza shop inside of Virgin. I've eaten there before and really like their pizza. Nobody talks about this place. I got a personal pizza because I was just staying there, brought it up to the room. $13 for a personal pizza, which didn't seem like these days terrible. Plus they only charge 50 cents for the toppings. So I got pepperoni and it was really good. Very solid pizza. Not top level, but I would say solid. And if you're in the area, it's worth a stop. They also do slices. I think it's like $7.50 a slice. So Vegas slice prices, but good stuff.
Yeah. Just get the small. I mean, those were big slices too. You basically got like 4 big slices on that pizza. So I think that's a really good deal. I mean, that's as good as you're going to find anywhere in the country, I think, for that size of pizza. It looked a lot like Metro to me, which we both love. So it got kind of that same vibes. I mean, you can only tell so much from a pizza picture. The sauce and the cheese and all that stuff, the pepperoni, all taste different than it looks. But it looked really good. And for $13, $14, that's a really good deal.
The other thing I tried at Virgin was the ice cream. I ate the pizza sort of like late in the afternoon, and so wasn't hungry for dinner and stumbled down for some ice cream a little bit later. And After's Ice Cream is this place. It looks like Tron, the place, the store, which is kind of cool. It's kind of sandwiched in between the Hudson and the Dunkin' Donuts are right in that area there. So you're kind of right in the airport vibey area of Virgin. But this place is apparently a chain with locations in a few places. Really high quality ice cream with different mixtures in. I got the Cookie Monster, which is their, signature flavor. It's the blue one, has little chunks of cookie. And then I got the mint ice cream. This is really good ice cream. It was like $8.50 for 2 scoops, but I would say almost 2 scoops is too much. Like 1 scoop is pretty decent. So prices again high, but good quality.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a richer ice cream, that can get, fill you up pretty quickly, or at least give you that feeling with only 1 scoop. But it looked good. It looked almost like gelato or sorbet. Like it looked really creamy and rich. So definitely need to check it out.
Yeah, very creamy, good stuff. One more quick Virgin story, another construction update. The boring Vegas loop is under construction at Virgin, so I walked over there to see. You can't really see much. You can see that they're digging and they have the machine going, and you can see some of the tunnel pieces that will be on the outside of the tunnel that will be underground there. So yeah, moving along, and this is that big extension of Vegas loop. This is the biggest extension yet, so it's good to see this happening.
Yeah, it'll be cool when it's open. It'll be good for, convention people can stay there now, and Virgin usually has a lot of good deals or use Hilton points to stay there and stuff like that. So I think this will open it up a bit more. Good to see it growing. And then we'll have to see how the biggest expansion of the loop works, and if there's any hiccups or anything, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
It's a nice location right on the corner out there. Again, more Virgin stuff coming for my stay on a future show, so look forward to that. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. We talk about Vegas, we talk about behind the channel, a lot of other stuff, our travels, lots of fun stuff going on there. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the info, and thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So the Sphere is still moving forward. We know the Eagles announced their shows, and ticket sales were a little slow to start, which was interesting. I think they've all sold out now, though, and they added 4 more shows. That'll bring their total up to 20, which is a significant amount. I would call that a residency. That feels like it's fair, 20 shows to call it a residency. They added new dates 17th and 18th of January, 24th and 25th of January. Interesting dates, kind of a slower period in Las Vegas. Yeah, so you can buy tickets July 26th if you want to get those other 4 shows. Pretty good.
Yeah, it is a little bit curious if they struggled to sell out. Maybe there'll be different prices. Probably not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they sell out at all or if that one struggles a little bit because it's such a downtime in Vegas. A little bit colder, just not, and everybody spent their money on the holidays, so people aren't traveling as much. So it'll be interesting to see how tough that is. And then also, who's going to be the first one to come back for a second time? They spent all this money and time creating the shows. Do you think U2 is going to be the first one back, or do you think somebody else will add dates, next year sometime?
I think you got to bet on Fish, right? They only did 4 shows. They were all unique.
That's true.
Really highly popular. So why not just bring those 4? We talked about this before. Why not bring those 4 show sets for a long weekend every once in a while and do it? So hopefully they do that. I was supposed to be at Dead & Company on Friday, or I had a single ticket that I had bought, and I just decided to resell it because I had bought it to resell originally. I didn't want to go by myself. I wanted to get 2 tickets for me and my wife, and I ended up selling it and over doubling my money for Dead & Company. So I guess I can use that money to go buy Eagles tickets.
Dirty scalper.
So some changes might be happening at Valet. Casino.org kind of highlighted this story. I guess this happened in 2022. This lady and her Range Rover was parked at Paris Valet, and they gave it to the wrong person. Somebody stole the ticket from her room and then collected the vehicle, and she was able to get it back. This is actually a good story in that her car wasn't damaged, and it was over at Boulder Station, of all places. But she's suing them anyway, saying that they should have done a better job, and she wants this to be better for everybody else. What, you're mad that they brought it to Boulder Station?
Like, who steals a Range Rover and then it's like, you know what? I'm going to go gamble. Like, I'm going to go.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
I know that. Why wouldn't you take it to a chop shop or whatever your goal was to turn it into money? Like, you kind of hit the jackpot. They might not have known, maybe they targeted her, but they might not have known what kind of car you got if you just broke into a room and stole it. Then you go down there and you get a Range Rover. Like, that's got to have some good value on the market. And you think you'd just go ditch that. They changed the license plate, but with Teslas and stuff like that, they have all these tracking things in them. You can find them. I mean, Teslas, you can turn on the camera from your phone at any point when it's sitting still and check out what's around it and everything. So it seems kind of crazy that they decided to go gamble.
And the police say they're not going to pursue it or press charges because no damage was done to the vehicle, even though it was sort of stolen. So yeah, it's interesting. We don't know who took it, what they were doing there. Maybe they just took it for a joyride and then parked it. But anyway, the moral of the story is they're probably going to start checking ID, and maybe they should have been doing that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had my ID checked, never really even get asked the name. Half the time, they don't even look for the ticket. Once you go down there, you just kind of walk up to the one that's your car. So it is kind of crazy that this hasn't happened more often. And I'd be more nervous, like, if they actually did break into the room to take a ticket. I feel that's a little bit fishy. Did they steal other stuff? Wouldn't you be suing about that or upset that somebody broke into your room versus that they took your ticket to get your car? Like, I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, that was sort of buried in the story, like that they stole the ticket from the room. We don't know how or how that came or whatever. But yeah, I'm
Mail
actually
escort.
surprised. It's always right. It's always the answer to it. I'm surprised this hasn't happened a lot more. Just like you said, this is something that's not very secure. I'm surprised more people don't walk up and steal people's cars. And it probably does happen more often than we think, and it's just not covered in the news or they deal with it or whatever. I don't valet anymore. Does anybody valet still? I used to valet once in a while, but I just prefer to park it myself these days.
Yeah, I think it depends on the property. If the self parking is not too far of a walk, I'd definitely do self park. That's what I do most of the time. But if the valet is right there and self parks like forever away, like we see at some of the properties, I could see why people would still do it.
So let's talk Mirage. We have to talk Mirage this week, right? But I am staying here, as people have seen on this show. This is a room at the Mirage. Mirage, last night was the last night to stay here. So I am closing out this room. I will be the last one, I guess, to stay in this room until it reopens as Hard Rock. One interesting thing this week, we talked about all the chaos and everything. Vital Vegas did like a Photoshop job on one of the signs here. It's talking about chips and cashing them in and when they're selling them and stuff like that. But he just changed it to say this. You can see it on the screen. And I immediately knew it was fake only because he uses that word all the time. But a lot of people thought it was real, and it even got national news coverage.
Oh man, that's just sad.
Wouldn't it have been cool if they actually made that sign, though? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been funny, like on the way out, but I don't know. Okay, so I know we want to talk about the room a bit. I saw the video that you posted in our private Slack thing for the show, and I thought it looked better than a lot of the rooms already in Vegas. I mean, the bathroom definitely is a bit old and dated, needs to get worked on. I think they could have just refreshed that, maybe swapped out some furniture, and it would have been fine.
I agree. It holds up very well. I like the room, the colors. It's not like modern like a lot of the hotel rooms, but the colors they chose feel good. The bathroom really is the Achilles heel of this room. And the good news is, as you see the entryway, it's very wide and open. They can kind of extend the bathroom out into that area if they're going to knock down walls like they said they would. I expect that they'll do that. I just don't know why they built hotels in that era with the toilet 2 feet away from the shower or a foot away. It's terrible. It's not the only hotel built that way. But when we say Steve Wynn was a genius, it took him a little while to become a genius with his hotel design.
Yeah, those are the worst when it's like your knees are hitting the tub and the countertop at the same time. And I know sometimes it's, you're working within the parameters of the room, but that has that old like Holiday Inn 1980s type tub. So you could definitely get rid of that. If you put a stand-up shower there, it would create a lot of space. And you could definitely work within the footprint that they have. If they knock down walls, they can make it even better. But once again, I don't think that they needed to close down this whole thing to make this work. I think they could have done it within, floor at a time while they kept open. I don't know. It's just still kind of weird to me that they decided to go this route.
I don't think you can be a true 4-star modern quality hotel like Hard Rock's going to go for without fixing those bathrooms. And I think they have the space here. All they have to do is there's no reason for the entryway to be so open. A lot of hotel rooms, you walk in, you have a hallway. So they can create a hallway there and pop out the bathroom just a little bit to build a stand-up shower and move the toilet into its own space. Now, that's very expensive, moving plumbing and stuff. So who knows if they'll actually do that or what they did. They did say they're going to knock down walls. I would expect those are the walls they're going to knock down. But we'll see. Overall, yeah, this is not a bad product. Mid-tier for the Strip, I would say it's among the best. You say Paris is up there. I'd say this is up there with Paris for me as mid-tier. But is that what Hard Rock's looking for? Are they looking for upper to mid-tier when they reopen? This is not Tropicana, a sad property going away. This is a vibrant property that's closing to be redone.
And the carpet's a lot better than Virgin, so we got that. We forgot to talk about that. How hideous that hallway carpet is. It's still the worst in Vegas, by far.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when I talk about the room and stuff, but I did get to experience your favorite carpet over at Virgin. But a few other things about Mirage. Over half the machines are off. I would say 65% of the machines are off at this point. Now, they didn't do any of the drawings over the weekend, but they do still have one more day of slot drawings on Tuesday. So I wonder how that's going to be. Maybe they're just turning more and more off, but I don't know. There's a lot of them off. And it makes you realize how much light is added to a casino floor from slot machines. With all these off, it feels so dark in areas of Mirage. The colors aren't the lightest in there anyway. So yeah, it's not feeling all great there, but the atrium looks wonderful. Got to check out the volcano show. Bring Ellie to go see that. We hadn't brought her to see it before, so this was her first opportunity. I saw it for the first time from the Valet area. That was a new one for me. And we got to swim in the pool, close out the Mirage in style.
Yeah, it's cool that they kept everything open like that. And, that's something we didn't see with the Trop. And they just let it kind of go like derelict and look bad and bad landscaping, all that stuff. So it's good that they did that. Sad to see all the machines off. It looks dark and desolate and basement-y when people walk around, but it was crazy, like the video that you have of walking through the atrium, how packed it was. I know it's the last couple days when you were filming, but still, you wouldn't expect it to be like that, and the giveaway probably helped some, but it's just, that's too many people for me, man. I maybe like peek in, say goodbye, and then move on down the road.
Yeah, it was busy. Every slot machine full, multiple people at slot machines because there's not enough slot machines for the people because everything is closed. So you might have somebody playing and 3 other people kind of watching them. And this is, again, no drawings going on. So this is just people playing to play. And they had to announce it over and over against the loudspeaker. We're not doing any giveaways today, but everything was still busy. Staff really friendly. I did run into some people who were complaining that staff was rude to them, but I've had really good interactions. It was sad to see the fish tank kind of walled off behind the check-in desk when I checked in. But overall, this is another hotel I've closed out, I suppose. It's a little weird with the casino closing in a few more days, so you're not getting that whole closing vibe here, but I was glad to get a one last stay here at Mirage, and hopefully I'll get to stay at Hard Rock on the day it opens. Also really glad to finally experience that pool. I have stayed here before, but I didn't, and I walked around there, but I have never swam in the pool here, and I got to check that off the list. So happy there. Beautiful old school pool, waterfalls, very lush, very Tropicana-esque actually. So we lost 2 of these kind of cool pools this year.
Yeah, I think the good thing is that it looks like Hard Rock's going to do the pool right when they come back. So, we talked about how Hard Rock lost the pool Virgin. It's still a good pool, but it's not as good as it was. And maybe this will be, Mirage had a good pool, but maybe this will be even better. So, maybe we're net even when it's all said and done. You're losing the Trop overall, but maybe the Mirage is, a standout.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love Mirage. I just want to say it. I love it. It holds up very well. The bones of it, I gave some shade to Steve Wynn earlier, but the bones of it, the idea of creating the mega resort, it still holds up even though it's been sort of perfected over the last 35 years. This was the original one, and I'm excited because this isn't very sad or melancholy because we know it's coming back in a different form, and I'm happy with that. That just means that this building and this sort of property gets another 30, 35 years, and that should be what we should all celebrate. Very sad the volcano's going, though. After seeing it and watching how many people were out there to see it, I went to the 8 o'clock show, just so many people, and then I went again to the 11 o'clock show, and still a ton of people. Everybody's going to see it. Everybody's clapping and enjoying it. It actually impresses people. This isn't something like, oh, we're going to go see this dying thing from 30 years ago. Everybody's like, wow, when that fire blows up. So it is a loss. This is a big loss.
Yeah, and I think it just shows how people take things for granted, especially in Vegas. And, I'm sure a lot of those people have been to Vegas before, but maybe just never made a point to go down there, or maybe it wasn't working on their trip, because we saw that quite a bit. And it shows what the power these things have. These roadside attractions still draw people, and a portion of those people are going to go into the resort. And the fact that they're pushing them away because they're a loss leader maybe isn't the full story, and they need to reconsider that at some of the properties. We've lost a lot of them in Vegas, and it's a big miss. I think, hopefully we get back to that. Everything old becomes new again, so we'll see that. But I will say, if you're missing the atrium over the next couple of years, you can go to Laughlin, check it out, the mini version, or you could just go to your local Home Depot and stand in the garden section, and you'll get the same effect.
See, now you're putting shade to the Mirage atrium by comparing it. It started by you giving shade to Golden Nugget. The other good thing about this show is we're getting to the end and we haven't mentioned weather once. So that was good as well. So no weather report this week. But let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about. Virgin, the food over there, the boring tunnel, Trop's construction, everything with the Mirage. Hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
To be clear, I was just throwing more shade at Golden Nugget. So I don't want anybody to get mad because Sean...